Let me quickly talk to you about Avant Credit Card. So basically, we're going to have a deep dive today, and this is a card that you can actually apply for if you have bad credit, if you have a fair credit. And here is an overview I really want you to pay attention to. So when we think about Avant, we're thinking about a card that is great for no penalty, so they're not charging you anything. But the APR is kind of high, though. You are looking at 29.74%. Think about it. 29.74%. And in terms of credit score, if you have bad credit, if you have fair credit, they will accept you. So they will accept your application if you have like 500 all the way to 540. So that they'll take you also. And what we love about the Avant card is that it is an unsecured credit card that allows you to actually build credit to allow you to also have to have access to a nice credit line. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a fantastic opportunity to talk to you about Avant Credit Card in today's conversation. So the question is, should you consider Avant Credit Card at all? Well, it really depends. It depends on your situation. It depends if you're looking for a card. Let's say you're looking for a card to rebuild credit. Let's say you have limited credit history and you're looking for a card to kind of help you out. Then Avant card could be great for you. If you have excellent credit, if you have like 700, 750, don't go with Avant card. You have better cards out there. On top of that, this card actually charges $59 as an annual fee. So I didn't talk about that before, but they do charge $59 as an annual fee. So this is not really great. But the card itself, those Avant Bank branded credit card, they are issued by WebBank, which is a member of FDIC. So overall, Avant credit card could make sense if you struggle to qualify for a cheaper, more rewarding credit building initiative. If you use this card responsibly and let's say you manage to boost your score, you can then apply for a more lucrative cashback or rewards card. So think about the Avant card as I would say, let me just say it's a temporary card. It's a transitional card. It's a card that allows you to actually go from, let's say, from 540 to 740, so to speak, to have to sort of navigate your credit situation as you're trying to go from subpar territory to I would say stellar credit territory. So overall, it is a decent. Let me just put it this way: it is a decent credit card to consider if you are in the subpar community. You are like in the FICO basement, so to speak, and you're trying to come back up. Pros and cons of this Avant card, Avant credit card. So here are the pros. So the card allows you to build credit history. So if you use the card responsibly, the card will actually report your transactional data to the 3 credit bureaus, and so over time you will actually build your credit. Now it doesn't have to be over time. I mean, you can build your credit in like 3 months or 6 months maximum. Okay, but don't listen to people telling you can raise your credit score by 100 points in 30 days. That's just bullshit. Okay, that's bullshit. That's cap. Do not listen to them. They're lying to your face. Okay, you're not going to raise your credit score by 100 points in 30 days. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. You know why? Because you didn't lose that. You did not lose those 100 points in 30 days in the first place. So who's telling you that you can actually bring them back in 30 days? So that's just people just lying to your face. You can actually raise your credit score, let's say, over time gradually. Be patient here. So let's say 50 points every 45 days or 50 points every 50 days, as a matter of fact. Okay. So the second pro I want to talk to you about here is that the card does not require a security deposit. So you are actually saving money up front. So this is kind of cool. And in some cases, Avant Credit Card will offer a pre-qualification so that you don't have to have a hard pull on your credit right away. So this is really good. That soft pull ability is kind of decent. It's really good. What about the cons here? Now the card does charge an annual fee that goes from $0 to $59. In some cases, they might charge you all the way to $75. Okay, and the thing is that, the actual amount you pay will depend on a constellation of factors. For example, you have your credit worthiness, your FICO score, your banking history, and so this is something you need to think about. Now, the low starting credit limit of $300 can make it difficult to maintain a good credit utilization ratio, and this is important. Why? Because Avant is starting you around 300 to 1,000. That's the minimum. That's the initial credit limit. And the thing is that imagine if they actually give you 300 and they charge you $59 of annual fee. That's like you have a very tiny ass limit. You don't have a room to you don't have wiggle room. So you need to have some kind of room to sort of work on your CUR, your credit utilization ratio. And the thing is, If your CUR is kind of low, your credit score will never. If your CUR is kind of high, rather, your credit score will never go back. It will never go back up because there is a strong correlation. There's a negative correlation between your CUR, your credit utilization ratio, and your credit score. So if your credit score is if your CUR is low, that's good. If your CUR is high, then your credit score will go down. Before I talk to you now about the details, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a quick conversation about Avant Credit Card. I'm just giving you the ins and outs of this card, everything you need to really know before actually making a choice whether or not this card is great for you, right? And so let me give you the details here. So when we talk about, I really want to go more granular here so we have a clear idea about what we're speaking about. So this is a card. And so if you apply, basically you first have to go through a pre-qualification process. So Avant will actually see if you pre-qualify, and if you do, how much you can actually have. And so you will see you get an opportunity to see exactly how much they're giving you. You know, if they're giving you 300, 400, 500, whatever, like the initial limit, you can see if you like it or not. Like if you don't like the numbers, hey, you know, get your ass out of there and just look for something else. Okay, no time to waste here. And so basically, so you have the annual fee, $0 to $59. You have the regular APR, 29.74%. And there is no welcome offer on the card. There's no rewards rate. So this card is not actually, they're not trying to complicate things. The card is just trying to help you build credit history. They'll report your data to the top three. That's it. That's it. You know, they're not really going far. They're not really going above and beyond or whatever to kind of please your ass or whatever. No, they ain't doing it. Okay. So what about the extras here? Now, do we even have extras to start with? Now there are two things we'll believe that are still good anyway, because the card has no foreign transaction fees. So when you think about it, this is a good thing because, you know, they're not charging you anything. So if you happen to go to Punta Cana, or if you happen to go anywhere overseas, whatever, you can use the card, not a problem. Or you can actually use the card when you shop online, and they're not charging you anything. So the company is not charging you anything. And also the Avant Credit Card does not require any security deposits. So it is an unsecured credit card. So you're not really blocking any kind of savings to sort of please Avant or please WebBank, which is the ultimate issuer of this credit card. Okay. So it is great. I mean, it's great to build credit. But if you have, I want to repeat something I said before. If you have, let's say, above 650, if your FICO score is above 650, you have better choices out there. You want to stay as far away from Avant as possible. Let me give you the steps I want you to follow right now. If you are, let's say you want to sign up for this card and you want to build credit with this card, here are the steps, the step-by-step I want you to take right now. The first thing I want you to do is to pre-qualify. I mean, I will always insist on that. You know, it was kind of funny. Like every time we actually we receive emails from viewers, they talk about, why do you insist on pre-qualification? Well, very simple, son, daughter, very simple. I mean, you are preserving your FICO score. That's fine, yes, but you also have to make sure that you are seeing whatever you could qualify for. So it's actually you trying to have a sneak peek into the offer before even getting it. Okay, so this is a really great opportunity here. And one thing I also want to see here is that so besides pre-qualifying with only a soft pull, you also have the fact that Avant will report your data to the credit bureaus. So this is kind of cool. Okay. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. What are we talking about? We are having a conversation about Avant. I'm just trying to really give you all the information you need right now. If you want to know everything before making a move, whether or not you should make a move towards or really far away from Avant Credit Card. And so pre-qualify can pre-qualify with only a soft pull. The card will report your data to the major credit bureaus. And so one thing we have seen also is that Avant, in the last few years, the company has been really proactive in issuing credit increases. Like they will raise your credit like in no time. What we have seen, they do it around 120 days. After 4 months, if you have 4 months of responsible use, they will actually graduate you. And if they graduate you, they actually are giving you a higher limit. They're still charging you an annual fee though. Like simply because you have been graduated doesn't mean you are really missing the annual fee. As long as you have the account open. Think about the $59 or $75 for that matter as a price to maintain the card, to be able to use the card. So this is important. This is important to know. And one thing I also want to say here is that when we talk about Avant, we got to think about the fact that they constantly pay attention to your CUR. They look at your credit utilization ratio. I want to talk now about the rates and fees. So the rates and fees, there are 3 or 4 fees that you need to be aware of. Okay, first of all, I spoke to you about the $59. That's the annual fee that you can't really you cannot really negotiate your way out of that. So if you want to have Avant, you're gonna have to pay. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is you might have if this is applicable to you, you're gonna have to pay a $39 late fee. And on top of that, you also have like a cash advance amount of 3%. If you actually take some cash out, you have a fee of 3% or $10, whichever is greater. And you also have the APR on this card. The APR is 29.74. So you can see here that we have a constellation of factors you need to really pay attention to before you make your move, right? This is really important. And so let's talk about the rivals here. So we have so when we talk about Avant, there are a lot of credit cards that actually cater to the subpar community in terms of FICO score. So basically you have cards such as Discover It secure credit card. I mean, this is not an unsecured credit card as Avant. It is a secure credit card, but it does a better job. It does a better job because it allows you to actually build credit, yes, but also reap some nice benefits in terms of credit rewards. And this is something that only Discover, a credit card company with the solidity of a Discover can actually do. Okay, and Avant is kind of new. One thing we have seen in our research is that we think, and this is based on conversations we have with Avant employees, Avant staff members, Avant executives. Avant is thinking about their next move in terms of credit card. Okay, like right now they're just trying to really understand the market, to understand trends happening in the market, and once they have a clear idea of their whatever is happening in the market, they'll just make their next move. Really make the next move. So this is really cool. And one thing I also want to say here is that when you think about the secure credit card from Discover, you have a card that allows you, that actually charges you a lower APR than Avant, because Avant is charging you 29.74%, and Discover is probably charging you like 15 to 20%, depending on the credit you have. Let me actually talk to you about another credit card that you will love also. And let's say if you don't like the Avant credit card, try the Capital One Quicksilver One Cash Rewards credit card. Actually, this card is one of my favorites because you are able to build credit. First of all, this card actually is geared towards folks who have fair credit. This is kind of cool. And if you love Capital One as we do, you will love this card too. So you have, but the only thing is that when we talk about the Avant credit card, we always have to go back to the fee that they're charging you, the $59. And does Capital One Quicksilver Cash Rewards charge you a same amount? No, but they do charge you. This card does charge you an annual fee. So the fee here is $39. Okay, $39. This is really what it is. And the thing I want to say here is that when we sit down and we're trying to think about Capital One Quicksilver One Cash Rewards credit card versus Avant credit card, the one thing that comes to mind right away is the fact that this Capital One credit card can offer you a simple rewards program if you are a responsible spender. And because the card actually offers unlimited 1.5% cash back on all purchases in the form of a check or applied as a statement credit. Okay, so this is really cool. And one thing I want to say here, those two cards do not charge foreign transaction fees, which is really fine because it gives you the ability to know exactly that you can go overseas and still chill and not have to pay right away, pay a crazy fees when you actually come back to the States. And one thing I also want to say here is that there is actually another way to optimize your Avant credit card is by actually pairing the card up with another card. So if you focus on building credit, you want to steer clear of adding rewards card to your wallet too quickly, because these cards may require additional effort to maximize rewards earnings and take away from the goal at hand, especially if the rewards spending may entice you to spend outside your means and accrue unnecessary debt. So when you apply for credit cards, keep in mind that it can very negatively affect your credit score because there is an inquiry into your credit history. Also, opening too many accounts at once may negatively impact your score. So if your goal is to build up your credit score with a card, be mindful of how many cards you are applying for at once. You should try to get pre-qualified before applying for a card. Applying to a card you may not qualify for. Okay, and when you will earn a good credit score, you might want to consider upgrading to another card if your Avant Credit Card carries an annual fee. So this is really important. So if you qualify for no annual fee, and Avant has granted you this sort of I would say this sort of privilege, then hold on to your Avant card so you can actually boost your credit score in the long run. Here's a review for you. Here is a recap. Here is a verdict. So I've been talking a lot into this conversation, but I'm sure you are interested in hearing from us what really matters. So basically, is Avant Credit Card worth it? We think yes. We really think yes. The card with all the flaws and all the iniquities, with all the imbalances, is really worth it. Because the thing is, it comes with a high APR and an annual fee that could get as high as $59 plus. The card's lack of rewards program could also be a hurdle to some, as multiple secured and unsecured alternatives offer alternative, let's say, rewards opportunities, in addition to the credit building features. So this is really cool. And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about Avant Credit Card, here is a card that is constantly changing though. This is a card that is constantly reinventing itself. And we think that by the end of this year, we'll be able to see exactly his face and really really know exactly whether or not Avant Credit Card is actually great. The thing is, you cannot actually go to a branch. You cannot go to a web bank and see, a rep's face there, have a conversation with that rep and say, I want to come here and apply for Avant Credit Card. No, you can only apply online after pre-qualifying. So the information will be routed to a third party, that the system that is owned or controlled by, Avant or other banks in Philly before the money moves to Avant itself. So I really want you to think about that next time you're paying attention. So one thing I want to say here is that the Avant cards limit is actually so the initial limit goes from 3,000. What am I saying? goes from 300 to 1,000. So that's the initial limit, and then afterwards Avant can actually raise you, and because the thing is that they have AI, they have artificial intelligence to see exactly what kind of let's say what kind of changes are happening in the account, and then they'll take it from there. And one thing I want to say also is that when we have a conversation about, let's say, Avant Credit Card in general, you got to really ask yourself, where are you at in your FICO journey? Because everything starts. Appreciating today's conversation, I was just giving you an in-depth review of Avant Credit Card. And so I'll give you the overview, the pros and cons, the details, the extras, the steps, the rates and fees, the rivals, and the verdict. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.